So thank you, Marcelo. Thank you very much. And I think you have the Jamboard. Thank you, Naidu, for sharing that. And I think you're going to go ahead and put it in the chat if you like as well. That would be okay. So, well, my name is Rick Riguero. Yes, a lot of the work that I do is working with executives, working with leaders in the organization through their agile transformation. So I'm excited to have that opportunity. I think there's a lot of luck involved to where I'm at today, but there's also a lot of hard work and, getting yourself in the right situation to be able to take advantage of that opportunity, right? So I think that's been my calling. I love what I do. I do it and I think about it every moment of the day. Even when I wake up early, I'm constantly trying to figure out new things that I can do. I sometimes struggle with the ceremonies, events. People call it meetings. People have different views of it. So I wanted to actually walk through a couple of those events and kind of talk through the whys. I think we as Agile coaches, we as Scrum masters, one of the key things that we need to do is make sure they understand it, right? They can really relate to these things rather than just, this is the process, just follow the process, right? So what I wanted to do is kind of create like an interactive session. I do believe a lot in back and forth. I'm not good at one-directional conversations. So let's see how we work this. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to make sure everyone's in the Jamboard. So please join me in the Jamboard. All right. Is everybody there? And hopefully everyone has had an opportunity to use the Jamboard. All right. Or at least, played around with it. It's a very simple tool that on the left side, you just have several, icons that you can use. And the majority of what we're going to do is the stickies. Okay. The majority of what we're going to do is stickies. I always like to ask this first question. Out of all the Scrum events, which one do you like the most? And I think some of you might have even gotten that in an interview question, because I remember speaking to some of you and saying, well, this came out in an interview. How would you have answered that? So I'm just curious from the group, when you think of all the events that are out there, which is the one that you really are attracted to? All right, so hopefully you're helping me group that. We've got a lot of retros on one side. You've got the demo. Some people are using the word grooming, which is interesting. That's a long story.
Refinement.
That's okay. That's okay. I've got different organizations, and I understand that that's the terminology you use.
Every project I have to correct people.
Yes, I do too, but it's sometimes part of their,
There it says, what?
All right, so who's winning the race right now? Looks a lot of retros. Some of us like the daily stand-up. The planning session. Okay, so we've got a kind of a mixed group here, but I think retro is winning. And I can tell you that is my favorite as well. Retro events are, to me, the starting block. In fact, I love to say that if you only had retros, that if you would take a waterfall and constantly do retros, that you would end up in Scrum or Kanban, but you would end up actually doing, Scrum or Kanban. Okay, just by the continuous learning.
It's also my favorite because I'm like, oh my God, I got them to do retros.
Yeah, I could tell you there's a lot of challenges with doing retros, right?
Oh my God, I got them. They're doing retros. Just that glee right there.
I'm trying to pick the sticky notes, but I can't pick it. How do you pick that?
Yeah, we don't let everyone use sticky notes. Only a few people are allowed to use the stickies.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You should be able to access a sticky, of course. Look, Nailu is helping you there. She's clicking on it.
Okay, but I click on it, but it's not moving.
Once you click on it, first of all, go ahead and do it F5. Sometimes you just need to refresh your screen.
Are you on the right frame too? Because I saw somebody put a sticky on frame 1.
I think Ray is using Leonard's computer. That's why.
he's doing a dial-up. He's got a dial-up going, so we're gonna have to work with him.
You're not supposed to click the zoom, right, Ray?
Yeah, that's what I did.
That's the there you go.
There you go. I've seen that as well. Everybody's clicking like, why is it not working?
Everybody's.
You gotta click the link that Nate Lou posted in chat.
Yeah, that is what I did. I click on who put a new page for me, but just carry on. Maybe
go to page 2. Like,
are you able to go to page 2 and 3?
Marcel, circle the page 2.
Yeah, it's Scrum without a retro is Scrummerfall.
Scrum without a retro is All right. So guys, for this type of a presentation, it's going to be okay to have this kind of interaction. Okay, so please go ahead and interrupt if you need to as we go through this presentation. Okay, you don't have to wait to the end. All right, but we do have to mute some of the kids in the background. That we do. All right, terrific. So thank you very much for sharing. I love that some of us talked a lot about retro. That's good. But I want to go ahead and go to the next frame a second. Yeah. Yes?
I got you now.
You got me now? Okay. Yeah. What does that mean? You're in?
I'm in. Just carry on. I'm listening. Look, don't worry.
We're worried about you, man. We need you to be with us here. So I'm on slide 3 right now. Okay. So these are the different ceremonies. So here's a question for you. If you had to sell this to any of these events to a non-agile person, what would you say?
So hang on a second, Rick. Are we gonna talk about what we just posted, or are we moving on?
We're gonna dive deeper into that. We're gonna go into each of the ceremonies, and we're gonna dive deeper into those.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna put the stickies on and then go back.
I just wanted to kind of feel it out. It was sort of like an icebreaker. Hey guys, which is the one that you like? And then as you get in there, hopefully that warmed you up a little bit.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay.
So here's my next question, and this is important, okay? Because that's what we do, right? We talk to people that are non-agile. We know who they are, right? Command and control. Maybe they don't even like it. They've read a little bit about it. It's failed in the past. You know those people. So tell me, show me your secret sauce. How do you tell them this is what you need? This is what you need.
I tell them that's the incubator for innovation.
I like it. Put a sticky up. Put a sticky up. Put it in there. I like it. So think about it. You're talking to someone who does not believe in agile. Let's make it even more difficult. Hates agile. I hate that thing. How do you get them to kind of buy in on it?
हो गया ना? नहीं कहाँ रही है? मुझे तो टिक टिक सुनी थी.
All right, Marcelo, I'm probably going to have to ask for your eyes here because my eyes are pretty bad here. But let's give them a couple more minutes. They're about to see if you could pick up a good one.
I'm seeing some really good elevator pitches.
Yeah? Okay, I can't wait.
I'm seeing some good elevator pitches. I mean, it's like I see somebody trying to convince a manager here with some stuff in the Daily Scrum column. I mean, it's like, whoa. It's like everybody loves retros, but everybody seems to have like an elevator pitch for the Daily Scrum.
Wow.
I don't understand that. I would have figured, if everybody loved retros so much, they would know exactly what to say. But but it's like, look at that. Everybody's got like something to say about the Daily Scrum. It's amazing.
That's okay. All right, good feedback. Good feedback.
Man.
So Marcelo, pick one. What do you think is a good one there?
You know, I like this. I like this thing about self accountability. You know,
Highlight it. Is it there? Which one? Which one is it?
We
Which one is
hold
it?
ourselves accountable. You know, it's this one. I'm gonna blow it up. That one. We hold ourselves accountable.
So you're gonna say that to a non-agile person. You're gonna sell them the Daily Scrum by saying we hold ourselves accountable. Interesting. Yeah. So I want somebody to be a devil's advocate. Who wants to be the devil's advocate there when someone says that to you? I want you to act. Go ahead.
I can't sell that.
I can't sell that. Okay. Who else? Come on.
So challenge. Why not? Why is that so difficult to sell?
I could sell it, but I would say a lot of people would say that.
Interesting.
I would say, let me, who wants, I need a really bad guy right now, or a person. I need a really bad person to attack that. Be very negative and attack that one.
Yeah. I'm just saying what I've been told. So that's not what I think, by the way.
That's okay.
Accountable
that's okay.
To do what?
I like it. There you go. Accountable to do what? Come on. Yeah. How would we respond to that?
Well, if somebody had come to last week's meetup, they would know it's to get stuff done.
Way to go, Marcelo.
Well, they would say, the Gantt chart said it was done. So
I love it. I love it.
What does done mean? Again, if you'd come to last week's meetup, you'd know.
Well, I thought that the dev would say it was done when their definition was done. So they checked it off the Gantt chart. So product. Wait, where's my profit? I checked that off the Gantt chart. So that Gantt chart equals profit, right? Isn't that right?
Okay. So let me be the devil. Let me be the devil's advocate here. Okay. So, I know how to make you work harder. Okay. I've been doing this for a long time. Okay. Oh. You guys are naturally lazy. I know you are. In fact, I put dates out there just to force you to come up with work. Okay. So don't tell me about accountability. I've been working with you guys for a long time. You're not going to hold each other accountable. So who wants to respond to me that's not Marcelo? I need you to convince me.
Effectiveness.
Fine, I quit.
Effectiveness. I would say the effectiveness of the target. Effectiveness.
Sounds like you don't trust the team.
I don't trust the team. You hit me pretty hard there. You hit me in my trust, huh?
I did.
Hey, here's a good one. Here's a good one for you. I'm not here to make friends.
I'd say
I've got business to run.
I'm not asking you to make friends. I'm asking you, do you trust the team?
I would say I trust the team. I don't trust the plan.
If you want the best out of us, why don't you just give us the opportunity to do it our own way?
Okay, so you want me to completely trust you. That's a tough one. Off the bat, you want me to open up my checkbook and give it to you. That's what you're asking me for.
So let me ask you, why don't you trust the team? You said we don't hold each other accountable. Why is that?
Because I'm used to managing people. I manage people, and that's why you people succeed. Because I know how to move the puzzles. I know the bigger picture of what's going on.
Okay, so couldn't we collaborate based on what your vision is and based on what we can do?
Okay. Anybody else want to hit me?
Well, you might get the best out of us when you let us do it on our own or collaborate. I mean, you're achieving success now, but that does not mean you're still getting to the top of the peak. It could be better.
Okay. Anybody else that wants to try to convince me?
So I put a sticky up there. It says, would you be interested in improving the quality of your product? Would you be interested in increasing a faster time to market for your customers for your product? Would you be interested in a higher performing team and better quality? And would you be interested in increasing your customer satisfaction? Are those things you'd be interested in?
Interesting approach.
So I have
And
one.
then it would say how.
Hang on, Saba.
So I have one for you, Rick. So we have our daily scrum and you attend and we kind of keep you informed of how we're progressing. And if you have, like by now, I think we've proven to you that we are a high performing team. And if we're not coming to you with the daily scrum and showing progress, why aren't you calling us on it right then and there?
Are we saying we got that far? Or are we saying you don't even know anything about Scrum?
I'm answering when he gave us the whole spiel about I have to give you deadlines, I have to do this and that. But if we're talking about it and we already are clear on what is expected of us, what we need to do, and we're passionate about it and take pride in our work, and we come to you every day and say, this is what we've done, this is our blockers, this is what we're going to be doing again. Why wouldn't that be a problem? Isn't that a good argument?
So I love, because you guys started talking about trust, and how do you establish trust? The proof is in the pudding. So if now you're telling me that every day I'm going to show you that we're doing something and I'm going to have some transparency, that already opens me up a little bit, or a little bit, not enough, but you're opening me up. You guys are doing an okay job.
The analogy that I use when I'm selling in retrospective is I tell them that we're shooting for a target, right? And I say that, the plan is when we aim, and the review is when we fire, okay? But now we got to calibrate the scope, right? Because after you shoot a massive target, right, your scope needs to be realigned, right? We've got an awesome gun. The gun's great. We love it. But after you shoot the gun, we got to calibrate the scope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so interesting.
Very interesting observation, James. Yeah.
I like to use military.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I'm about to get.
I have it, but the thing is that kind of fits the kind of rational logic that business, go off of. Also, they respect military conquest. So, if you get all heart and lovey feeling, right? If you get all empathy on them, they
Mm-hmm.
they don't get it, right? They don't see it because they're like, command and control, drive, go, right? So you got to create a parallel to something that they respect and power, right? So I always try to do military conquest, and even when I'm doing the product stuff, I talk about, where the product is, the market is the country we're invading, right? And I use all these like analogies so they can kind of see it in a more aggressive tone, because you try to hit logic, not rationality. And then so those metaphors will work on a logic level more so than kind of the touchy-feely stuff that we really do need, right, on the team. But a lot of times those are the people that are cutting the checks.
Yeah.
I think it, for me, just as a reaction to that, I think it depends on the maturity of the team, right? So I think when your team is starting out, they need some of that guidance and direction. But as your team matures, then I think those retros and things are going to be important to get you to the next step, and to be able to reflect on what you've done and where you've come from, what you accomplished, celebrate your success, and improve.
But I don't ever have to sell it to the team. The team's never the one I need to sell it to. I need to sell it to the PMO, right? I need to sell to the guy running the Gantt chart, right?
Wait, why?
Because they don't want to make space for it in their Gantt chart, right? Let's say they put this Gantt chart up. They have this big plan. I come in there. They're all nice and lovey with it, but the I Heart Gantt shirt they're wearing, right? And I go in there and I said, "Oh, look at your plan. Okay, this is great, but we're gonna put a retro here. What? Do you realize how much money an hour these developers cost, right? And I'm like, yeah, do you know how much delay costs? You know, a delay, how much that costs? Have you done any calculation on that? Right.
There you go.
And then so you got to get, you got to put cost for cost, right? Aggression for the aggression, command and control for command and control, right? So they put their chess piece there. You got to put your chess piece there, right? You got to have a counter for it, because you can't say, when they talk about command and control, you can't say lovey-feely. You have to say military, you know?
Gotcha. Gotcha. You're not talking about to the team. You're talking about to management.
Because usually when you're going in at least I am, when I go to transition, it's because I'm walking into a command and control situation, right? Where the PM knows command and control,
everybody.
Right? Yeah, which is why we're going in, right? So we've got to, basically create this merger of rational understanding of humanistic behavior, then also the logical drive for monetary conquest, right? We've got to change the perspective, right? So we've got to use these words to kind of go where they're at and then shift it a little bit, because if we come right at them, they're going to just shut down, right? Because we are actually being pathological to their material instead of, because we're coming at them, we think they're like pathologically pushing their plan, but really if we come at them too hard the other way, then we're not being empathetic to their thing. So that's why I try to use those metaphors that conjure up those images in their mind, so their perceptions open a little more.
So let's pause a second, because we want to actually make sure other people also speaking. The only thing that I'm concerned about, my problem here, no one has asked me for my pain points. You guys straight into selling something, but you should have also tried to ask the right questions that could actually dive deeper into how I'm going to project it to you, right? So just understand, I think we missed out on that as an opportunity there. What else, Marcelo, are you looking through the stickies there? Do you see anything else that kind of shines out at you that would make you have an aha moment? Hey, this might work. Do you see anything else out there?
Yeah, I jumped over to Sprint Review, and I kind of highlighted this idea of being able to see what the team has completed faster, because typically, and I'm going to talk to Mr. Gantt chart over there. It's like, yeah, you've got some progress and something was counted as done, but what does done mean? Okay. And is it really completed? Well, with the sprint review, the team has that opportunity to see something that's actually functional and be able to have a conversation around it. So that kind of draws my attention.
Okay, let's get negative again. I need somebody who's very negative. Fight that battle. Fight that battle. Anybody want to fight that battle? Come on. I need the happy person, Marcelo, and now I need the very negative person that says what? And somebody that has not spoken. I need somebody else debating this. Who would debate that?
I think I've already talked too much.
I don't have time. I'm going to give you the work, and then once it's done, it's done. But don't get me involved with having to spend time with reviewing this stuff.
But Rick, what if it was just what you asked for, but what if it wasn't really what you needed?
I know exactly what I want. Okay, guys, we're behind the market. Look at this bank. We want to do the same thing they're doing. It's simple.
Okay.
Just get her done.
Wait. So you just compared competition to competition. What does your customer say?
I am your customer in a sense, right? I'm your boss. I'm asking you, we need to get this done, and I don't have the time to review this.
I understand, but you're representing the ins and outs of every customer that we have?
What I'm saying is that I know what I want. It's clear. We want to duplicate what they're doing over there.
Okay.
And you should be able to deliver that.
Okay, so
why do you need me to review this stuff?
So you're telling me you never change your mind?
Well, let me think about that. Okay, Marcelo, you're awesome. But I wanted somebody else to try to tackle that. Good job, but not good. Not good, because we want to see if anybody else can do that. You should speak last. You're doing good. But so again, interesting debate here. I want you guys to challenge each other in some of these things. Okay? Does anybody Go ahead.
One thing I think you're right about. Now we're doing a theoretical sell on the topic, but one thing I've found, like when I go through the transition, and if I find myself into a situation like this, right, my first thing is like, I definitely did not do a proper job of elicitation up front, right? Because and so many times I want to like just stop the thing and go, all right, this is going to be a lot of arguing. So I think a lot of the times is really when you do your retrospective as a agile coach, well, that's one of those things between each project, is to say, okay, if this was such a hard sell, right, make sure when we're prospecting, when you're going into when you're doing elicitation on them, and you're trying to get their motivations and their jobs to be done and everything, that you're compiling evidence for this at some point in time to be executed, and then you're kind of like preempting that attack with evidence that they've provided you.
I like that. I like that. So now you're getting the feedback and you're actually building out your strategy to say, okay, next time I talk to him, because I learned this, now I'm going to approach him. Wait a minute. What disc assessment is this person? Oh, he's this. So maybe he wants his data this way. Awesome. Awesome approach. Okay.
What triggers most conflict is if that cell is a conflict, and most conflicts are done because there wasn't proper dialogue at the proper time.
Good point.
All right.
Good point. All right, so we're looking for some other voices here. I just want to make sure. Marcelo, give me another sticky out there. See if you find another one. And
I think that in retrospective, since so many people vote on retrospective, is gaining a perspective on what needs improvement. I like that concept.
Okay.
I mean, constantly improving the process is great, but gaining perspective, that's pretty interesting.
Can anybody be the devil's advocate to that? And not the same people that have spoken, someone else. Who can fight that battle? Come on, guys. You guys, go ahead.
Are we still selling it?
Now you're the devil's advocate. Now someone from the negative side is saying, you guys are selling it, but I want somebody else to be.
If I'd be a jerk about it, I mean, perspective, like, well, why didn't you fix the perspective during the sprint? Right? Why? What's going on?
I like that. I like that negativity. I like that negativity.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Right.
I'm for the PMO. Right. I work at the PMO.
All right. Someone else. I need someone else to speak. I'm going to mute people that are speaking. I need some other people to speak as well. Give me some negativity about retrospect.
Not everybody wants to talk. Not everybody really says what they feel. They just are there and letting somebody, and probably the one with the biggest mouth or the biggest voice is the one who takes over.
See, I do
say if they just do what they're told, they wouldn't have any problems.
I love that. All right.
My voice is not heard. Every time I give an opinion, nobody listens. Nobody takes my opinion serious.
Yeah. Why even have that retro?
Yes.
Why even have that retro? That thing doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Does anything even get solved in the retro? You've heard stuff like that. Huh? I don't know. Interesting. So again, these are the battles that you guys have to work through when you hear about these different ceremonies and why is it important? Why is it not important?
The worst part is the worst ones are when somebody tried to do it before and they didn't know what they were doing. And they had they went through a whole ordeal with somebody who had no idea how to do Scrum, right? And they had all these basically renamed meetings, right, to something, and nothing, and nothing did happen because it wasn't done right. And then you come in there and you talk about, this is the perspective, and they're like, that doesn't work, right? Even if you've done your elicitation up front, you've got all this evidence. Like, no. We had a guy over here, right? He had a shirt on and everything that's at Scrum, so we knew he was solid, right? And he went in there, he took our meetings, he went, changed the font on their name, put a bold and changed the meeting names to, Sprint and all these other fancy names on our things, on our charts, and nothing happened. We changed all the names. We even changed some of our vocabulary, and nothing worked.
All right. Awesome. Thank you very much. So Marcelo, are we good with that, or do you see any other ones before we go to the next screen? So again, I want to hear other voices. If I keep hearing the same voice, I'm going to mute. Just be aware of that. You're going to hear Marcelo mute people if they're. We got to hear other people. Go ahead.
I think we've gone through these things, but I'm just curious. You know, this question here is, what do we really need to build? What do we really need to build? I thought this plan was clear. I know I'm going to play the negative one. I thought we were clear. I thought I gave you this Gantt chart. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't know what to do?
Who wants to respond to that one? Come on, sell it. Now it's your turn to sell it. Marcelo, repeat it again, just in case they didn't hear it.
I thought I gave you this wonderful Gantt chart. I mean, what do you mean you don't know what you really need to build?
Well, hey, Marcelo, just to back up. We're doing Scrum, right? What did you say our product goal is again?
Yeah, but I gave you a Gantt chart. Why do you need this backlog refinement thing?
Well, a Gantt chart is not the product goal. It's not the vision of what we're doing. What is the product goal?
But I have these milestones. Bring them.
Those are mine. I'm looking for the picture of what we're building. That to give us the vision to really help us know what we're doing, and the steps we're doing in a Gantt chart aren't a product goal.
There is
potential. I don't have that.
Yeah, and I think the problem with a lot of the problems with retrospectives is that potentially as an agile coach, you didn't really lead with metrics, right? And you didn't lead with, you know, because if you if you got them to do objectives and you got them to tie their, you know, their actual output goals to outcome objectives and desirability targets, and then put cycle times and throughputs as metrics, that would kind of illuminate that even though the output went through, that potentially the desirability target wasn't hit, right? But if you didn't do that, it's a much harder argument.
I'm going to see if I learned something today. So Marcelo, you've never changed your mind on milestones or things we're trying to do in your Gantt chart?
You learn it quickly, Joe Libera.
Good one, Joe.
You learn quickly. I might reorder them, but the dates on those milestones don't change.
And then some of us will ask, what is a Gantt chart?
Oh, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're fired with that one. You're fired with that one.
Let me show you the door.
Exactly. You're out of here.
But you know, some of them don't know the names of it because it's all they've ever known. It's like explaining to a fish what water is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So, Marcelo, good job. Good job, Marcelo. Thank you very much. I still think you got to work on this. Some of you held back a little bit. Okay, this is your selling point. This is where you run into trouble, and you got to come think quickly. How would I respond to somebody that reacts like this? It's not always going to be kumbaya. You're going to hold hands, and they're going to get agile, and you're going to say, yes, we're all going to hold hands. You're going to have these rough patches, and you need to make sure how you would talk through that. Okay, so if we go to the next slide, who's sharing the screen? I don't even know who's sharing the screen right now. Is that you, Neilu? Go to the next frame.
Go to
the next.
Yeah.
So we talked about a lot of these ceremonies, events, but let's go to the right. Go ahead, go one more. But what I want you to think about, in Scrum, you've got these values, okay? You've got these values, and you think about it, and you go through that motion. But when you really dive into each ceremony, how do these values actually take action? So let's go to the next slide. So this is the activity. We're now straight to our daily Scrum. And I want you to think of these specific values, and when, in these events, how are these Scrum values demonstrated? How are these Scrum values demonstrated? So think about daily Scrum and put some stickies off of each one. Each one. Now you're with the team and you really want to demonstrate these things. How are they demonstrated? So you're in the daily scrum, the daily scrums. You guys know what the daily scrum is. Give me examples of how they demonstrate these things. So I want you to take a look at the stickies that are there. Did you notice none of them are process, right? They're focused on the value that you're delivering, right? They're focused on these key elements of Scrum. This is a massive conversation. Why do we have a daily Scrum? Every single sticky here could be a conversation piece. This is the why behind the scenes. This is the secret sauce. This is really what makes Agile work. Forget the process. Tomorrow they'll change those 3 questions. Tomorrow they'll change the time you have the daily stand-up or daily, they'll change it. This is behind the scenes, guys. This is what really sells it. This is what Agile feels like. This is what Agile feels like. So which is the sticky that really stands out for you? Joe, I'm going to let you be look around and tell me which is the sticky that really stands out for you. Which one did you like?
Sorry, I was still writing stories. Give me a second here.
I'll pick on Godwin then. I'll let you, keep writing. I'll have Godwin.
It's okay. Just give me a second to analyze the board here.
There's a lot of stickies there.
Yeah.
I think for me, allowing each member to talk.
Where's that one under? Where did you put that under?
Kind of psychological safety and respect.
You put it under respect, allowing everyone to speak? Okay.
I didn't put it there. I mean, it kind of came out to me.
So how many times have you as a coach noticed that they're not doing that?
A whole lot, because some people do it without knowing they're doing it. And you have to be able to call it out each time. I mean, there's always that one person that speaks louder than other people in the team. And that's always that one person that knows a whole lot than other people. And so they tend to like trying to correct and also trying to give analysis or maybe give a better understanding of what that person is saying. In other words, trying to shut them up at the end of the day.
Guys, a simple win there. That demonstrates, okay, you're collaborating, right? You're allowing people to speak, right? And maybe not to speak, right? There's sometimes they have nothing to say, and that's okay. What's one for you, Joe?
So I'm looking, and all of these are important, right? But I'm looking at the respect, right? Respect to listen to each other, understand each other, support each other when needed. And then other things that are also in the respecting. Don't be negative on, working with each other, allowing team members to speak to each other. So
negative is an interesting word, right? Mm-hmm. Because there are times that you want to have mixed message. You want to actually see a different view of it, right? But it's you can't attack each other, right? It can't feel like, oh my God, I'm all stressed out because this person's always, causing problems, right? But having healthy debates, right? Where does that fit in, right?
That I would say that means you when you speak with respect and you have empathy to the other person's perspective, right? And you don't just plow over or like if somebody says, oh, I have this delay because I didn't understand this, and the other guy goes, oh, you're an idiot, that would take me like 5 minutes, those kind of negative comments.
Awesome, thank you. All right, I'm looking around to see Bill, are you there? I'm trying to pick some names here, see who else is out there.
Give me a few minutes here.
That's okay. Omar, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So what stands out for you when you look at this, Omar? Which one do you like?
Accountability.
So that sounds like, but give me more an example of it. Like
accountability. Accountability is anybody in the team accepting or raising the voice and letting them know that they failed the team because they either didn't complete an action, they were behind, they thought they can complete it and didn't ask for help. So it's the acceptance of some type of wrongdoing that could affect the outcome or the output of the team. And it includes everybody, the Scrum Master, the product owner, and the team.
A good example of that would be sometimes when they say, oh, I've got this dependency here that's holding me back. And you might ask, like, well, when did you know about that dependency? And it'd be like, well, I guess late last, the evening. And you'd say, well, why didn't you let me know then? Why are you waiting for the daily?
So I got a challenge for that. So before we can hold each other accountable, what needs to happen first?
Uh-oh, he's challenging the team here. Is he the negative one here? I don't know.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. You have to have trust. Yes. And you have to feel, you have to have the psychological safety to you can explain or open yourself or become vulnerable to the team and have that acceptance that, hey, he said it, he messed up, and he came forth about it.
That's perfect, Omar. That's exactly what I was looking for.
I think that's where respect fits in, is ways to establish the trust and psychological safety.
Awesome. Hey, Mike, you out there? I see your hand going up, Mike.
I am indeed, sir. That was, in fact, a card or post that I put up. I just want to clarify something, if I might. In terms of accountability and creating psychological safety in the team, my opinion is that the entire team is accountable. Maybe one person is responsible, but the whole team is accountable, and that has to happen in order for there to be trust. So if something goes wrong, the whole team is accountable for what's gone wrong, but one person may be responsible, but everyone's accountable. And it's, taking it back to James's analogy of the military. In the military, my recollection of the military is when something goes wrong, everybody gets beaten up for it, and that's the way it works. So, yeah.
Well, they say in SEAL Team 6 that, SEAL Team 6 has a different culture, and the special forces, really the special forces run much like a Scrum team, right? And standard forces are really basically Taylorism, command and control structures. So, but actually when they do promotions in SEAL Team 6, they do it on a scale of respect and performance, right? And what they say is, I'll trust you in the foxhole, but I won't trust you with my wife, kind of XYZ factor, right? And then so if they're not like respected by their peers or have that in their peers, then they actually don't promote them, right? So they actually call the people who are high performers, low trust, as toxic. They try to, and they remove them from special forces, put them back over into regular duty, and they rather, they want to get that sweet star trust performance, right, as to who they promote. But if it would take somebody who was low performance, high trust, over somebody who was high performance, and so they actually will cycle those high performers, and they'll put them back over to regular troops.
All right, guys. So again, good job on starting this. Okay, but look at what we just created here. When you do assessment of teams, imagine assessing teams with this kind of data points, right? Imagine having your own little checklist and say, okay, you guys say you're high performing. You guys say, let's walk through this. Do you help each other out? Do you ask for help? Are you this? Are you that? So you can actually look at the essence of a team and kind of ask pretty interesting questions just by doing this kind of structure here, right? It gives you the essence of it. How many times do you talk to team members and you ask them, why are you doing this? And they're just going through the motion, right? They really don't understand it. So they're willing quickly to change. They say, no, that's okay. We don't need that. Because they haven't really dived into, imagine how much cohesion are you establishing in the daily stand-up. Imagine the friendship, the connections you're having. Think as a coach, what are all the things behind the scenes that are happening just with the stand-up meeting, right? You're seeing each other every day. Wow, I feel like a team. You're hearing people out. You're getting that connection. Hopefully you're turning on some of your video cameras, right? And you're actually seeing them. You're getting that. So now the next time you have to approach them, it becomes easier. There's a lot of things that are being established that you might not know, right? Oh, let's skip the stand-up this week. Oh, we only need stand-ups once a week, right? They might not understand the full picture of why we do it, okay? All right. So again, great job. Anything else out there that we want to look at? Let me make sure. I'm trying to call on people that have not spoken. Brandon, Jazz, Travis, anything out there?
I got a question when you're done.
Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, okay. So I was going to ask, going back to what we thought is important, and my question is, the Daily Scrum, although I think retros are extremely important, would you agree or not agree to say, and this is for everybody, that during the Daily Scrum, part of that is also retros, just by natural course of what they are, and when things come up, you work together as trying to solve it and reflect on it. How can we improve?
Expecting and adapting.
Yeah, expecting and adapting.
Task level retro, right? But I think also one of the hurdles with the daily scrums is when the PMO and the business guy wants to come in and says, hey, we want to let me pop in on a Zoom here and plant my face right in the middle of this. So and then it turns into a status meeting, and then they start asking questions. So that's like one of the big hurdles culturally that we got to deal with Scrum teams, is when you're going into these Taylorism operations. They don't see anything wrong with having 2 or 3 managers and the PMO inject themselves into. But if it was on site, they put the chair down on the meeting and get in there, or they pop right into the Zoom, start asking questions. Why are you late? Why did you do that? Right. And so that's actually a pretty big issue I have from time to time. And it's kind of hard to cop that off at the circle. And I try to sell them not to do it, but I don't know. It's kind of like telling a crack person not to take crack. They just like, they want to get it, you know, and especially at the beginning when the metrics haven't been really flushed out, they get all nervous about what's going on and they want to like go in there and infiltrate the daily.
All right. Thank you, James. James, I'm going to hold off on you talking for a little while because I want to hear other people. Okay.
No
I just want to make sure you understand. I'm going to mute you. And I've been saying a couple.
I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
I love you, but you're not allowing other people to speak up.
I'm cool. Yeah, I understand.
All right.
Jazz
yes.
here. So there is one point which is don't be negative on others' delays. This is one point which I have learned from my experience. I would like to talk about where there are two guys working in the same team. Let's say one is developer and other one is a tester. You know, they always fight with each other, and one of the things they delay and always, you know, they do the blame game on each other. And this is something I would like to talk about.
Anybody want to talk about the blame game, developer and tester? Who wants to talk about that experience? Awkward silence.
Is it a personal issue or is it a professional issue?
A professional issue which turns into personal.
Automate all your tests, then you get rid of your testers. Or actually, automate all your tests and have your T-based developers learn how to test and do exploratory testing, and have your tester learn how to code and become T-based.
Gotta love Bob.
You gotta love Bob. Any other suggestions?
Is there some sort of a pecking order where the developer thinks he's better than the tester, or different pay grade, or?
Possible.
Sounds like a siloed environment to me, where they're not on the same team, perhaps, or don't want to be on the same team.
I would say that's true. At times, I have seen two guys being a project manager, fighting with each other all the time and not, you know, agreeing to each other. And they were just picking up like fights whenever it's possible to put other person down.
Yeah, you got to think about if you're a scrum master and, you know, people aren't meeting their goals or whatever, and you come down hard on them without really coaching or helping or removing some of those impediments, that could be a very bad situation.
Yes, I would say this is one of the things which delays in your projects too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would just like to have more information about what the problem is.
Yeah.
Are there examples? Are people taking positions and not really getting at the underlying interests? You know, well, I need this. If you take a position and dig in on that, you missed the stuff of why that is. Maybe there is stuff in common. Maybe there are ways to work together. So the negative has to, if you have a problem, it has to come out. But as Scrum Masters, being able to dig into the stuff matters.
So to me, this sounds like a volatile environment, and it's not really a team because it doesn't sound like they're willing to work together. My thought would be doing a little bit more team building, team exercises, and that really, I think that really works towards people wanting to work together, not wanting to work apart.
I think if I could just jump in there just quickly, I think that what Brigham was saying is good, and I would definitely second it. Start with why. That's always a good place to start. Start with why, and find out what's actually going on. And then when there's a level of understanding, then you can start to deal with the issue. And it could be anything. It could be ego. It could be breakdown in trust. It could be relationship. It could be all sorts of stuff. But it really starts with why. Once you got the why bit in place, then you can start to strategize as to how you're going to deal with it. That's my thing.
I like it. So great job, guys. Great job in coaching each other. I really enjoyed that part. Marcelo, do you want to add anything to that before we move on? I just want to make sure. I don't know if you heard that.
I think they could probably run this without us, Rick. We could go to Cinco de Mayo celebration.
This is where it's at. This is about you guys coaching each other. So this is a good thing. All right. So let's move on to the next screen. So this is a good start. But I do want to jump into another ceremony just so that we can move forward. So we are now in the, what ceremony are we? Backlog refinement. So talk to me. What do you see in backlog refinement? See if you can find some areas there. Backlog refinement. Give me some examples where you demonstrate these things in that event. We're on slide 7, on frame 7. Maybe you want to refresh your screen, Nelu, just in case. There you go. Wow, courage to admit something's not clear. Okay, I like that. How is the feature? I can't see. I wish I could see. Improving people's lives and adding value to the business. Love it. Focus on. I need to get better glasses.
Focus on items that are the next priority. Then focus on discussing only the items that are high priority for the business.
Nice.
Courage to do the right thing. DORAC, story pointing. Respect on hearing all opinions and contributions from the team. Then I think I didn't read how is the feature improving people's lives and adding value to the business.
So again, notice what you're creating here. We're not talking about we're talking about the values behind the scenes. This is what really makes agile, right? No one talks about this. Everyone's just saying, let's just do this. This is how we run this ceremony. This is how we execute this. Who pays attention to all of this? You as coaches, you as scrum masters. This should be your tools. This is what you should be looking for. Promoting, coaching, supporting. So Mike, which is the one you like the best, Mike? I'm going to pick on you.
Me?
Yeah. Which is the one?
I think because it stands out pretty large for me, is focus on value. And oftentimes that's lost. So this guy down here.
And where did they put it on? Focus? Love it.
Oh, that guy there. Often features are just added for the sake of adding features. And something becomes a feature run and you don't sit and ask questions like, and I put that sticky there, but is basically how is this feature improving someone's life and adding value to the business? Because those are two key questions you need to ask. So focus on value is a really important thing for me.
Yeah, I really like that one as well. That's because that's the one I wrote.
He gets the credit for it. He wants the credit.
No, once in a while I get lucky, right?
All right, Bill, I'm looking at you now, Bill. Which one do you want there, Bill? Look around. Talk to me. You're muted, Bill. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
I think for me, the openness of asking more questions and user stories not meeting the criteria. So that's really for backlog refinement. It's people coming up and saying, I don't understand, or this doesn't make sense, and asking for clarity to make sure that that they're getting the right information so they can develop and not have potentially the issue between tester and developer as previously discussed.
Great job, Bill. Great job. Again, any negativity toward backlog refinement? Somebody want to wear their negative hat on? Huh? Anything negative toward backlog refinement?
We don't have time to refine these stories. Aren't they good enough? I mean, let's just get them going. And then once we get in the sprint, we can, you know, refine them then.
Same as in the retro. Not everybody speaks up. It's always 2 or 3 of the same people sizing and making decisions for the rest of the team.
Yeah.
You know, Omar plays this negative role really well. You know that?
Hey, didn't you want a challenge? Hey, I'm giving you the challenge.
I did. When you call Omar, boy, he's there. He's there.
I think he's practicing this offline, Rick.
I think he has. So I love that. Anybody want to kind of rebuttal that? His argument?
No, I would just add to it because it's always the product owner and the PO, the product owner and the tech lead doing all the work. We don't get to even know what they're doing because they don't even share the screen. They just tell us what to do. So why do we have to come? Because they do the work. So we just get told what to do.
Right. I'm not very talented. I don't know all this stuff. Let them figure that out. Why do you have to waste my time? I'm a developer, man. Let me be developing. You know, I should be coding all the time. You know?
Yeah, just give me the story and then I'll code it. Don't worry about anything.
Don't make me go to that. Waste my time. I'm an expensive resource. You know that, right? I'm an expensive resource. You don't want me wasting my time over there.
So, Joe.
Yeah.
You know,
I thought one of the purposes of the story was to the team decide the how. Isn't that the developer that is participating in that? Is the how the story is going to be delivered?
Yeah.
I think also the other thing to ask is the developers would really just be involved with the sprint backlog, isn't that so? And their input on the sprint backlog is really important because it affects level of effort and what is actually in that backlog and how long it's going to take to develop whatever is in that backlog. Yeah.
So,
well, it is, but what doesn't the developer have to, before getting to the sprint backlog, understand what is it that they're going to be working on? Because the refinement is probably one of those first steps to understanding what is the work that has to be had. It's not give me the story and I'll code it. You have to understand the why. And as a product owner, that is my job. And luckily I'm a product owner, so I know, but it's, I have to make sure that my team knows not only what they have to build, but why they have to build it. What is the value behind it? What is the purpose, to probably even force them to ask a little bit more just to make sure that they can find loopholes in things that probably I haven't thought of.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to take it very personal. Joe?
Yeah.
How would you answer? Or how would you feel, okay, if the answer after something you used lost you your family's savings? Oh, I just wanted to code. How would you feel about that? If some system you were using lost you your family's savings, and the response was that developer, oh, I just wanted to code, man. I just wanted to code.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, right?
Okay, let me go you one further. What if it was something more than just money? What if it was someone's life?
That's even worse.
There you go. It's never just code. There's always a human that's tied to behind it. And especially in today's systems, it's never just code, folks. It's never just code.
Wow, he hit
Man,
my heart.
I was just playing the part, man. Now I felt bad.
I know, I feel bad too, man. I'm like,
it's a good point, right? That's a very good point to think about, right?
I'm all depressed too, man. I don't know.
I'm gonna go cry now.
Go cry.
There's no need to cry, but
there's no crying in Agile.
Well, no, actually, there is quite a fair bit of crying Agile. I can assure you that. I've done a fair bit about myself. Okay, a fair bit of crying. Okay, there's also a bit of hugging, but only respectful hugging. You know, but these are the concerns we deal with, right? Because we have created to some degree a culture of just let me alone and let me do my job. And the point is, what is our job? I'm going to go Charles Dickens. Is not our concern our fellow man or our fellow humans? There you go.
If just to kind of go on that point that you made earlier, say you're not a bank, you're not losing money, there's no lives at stake. What about people's jobs, right? If we're not delivering a quality product for our customers and our customers start going to our competitors, well, pretty soon there's not going to be a team to deliver anything because you don't have any customers.
Yep. Absolutely.
Can I just say that in a lot of the things that I've heard so far, especially like around voices and that sort of thing, that I think the Scrum Master is got to keep control of his team, or not necessarily control, but the Scrum Master needs to be able to steer the team into a place where they are better able to serve one another and obviously the community that they're working in. And if the Scrum Master is not doing that properly, then the Scrum Master is not doing his job, bottom line. That's what I think.
You might.
At the risk of being arrogant.
Yeah, and I think you just hit on the why behind the why, Michael, by saying that. That's the why behind the why.
So guys, with time again, it's 7:19, so we're pretty ending this up. So the whole exercise, just understand what I did here today, right? I kind of brought in some of the events. You could do this with all the events, but as a coach, that's the first thing you should try to get underneath your toolkit. Understanding the why and what your team perceives as the why, and understanding the values and how it connects, because now you got them tied into value. How important is it for a team to be tied into value, right? That makes it easy for them to make decisions, right? Because, okay, we know that focus is one of our values. So now when I do any kind of work throughout any event, even in my day-to-day interaction, I'm going to keep that in mind. That's a very powerful tool, the most powerful tool. Forget all this process stuff. That will change. That will adjust. We will pivot. We will learn. But foundation of values is really, really crucial. So to be a good coach, to be able to relate to your teammates, you need to understand where they're at in that area, right? So that you can keep coaching them to get to the next level. All right. So so that's really it for today's session.
Hold on a second. I want to challenge you, Rick.
Oh my God, he's going to challenge me. Okay, go for it.
So, okay, it makes perfect sense to go through the why, and I appreciate that. I think this was a great session. If you have a new team and you're suggesting going through the whys before you even going into the ceremonies, or are you saying going into the ceremonies kind of give them, get their feet wet, and then go into the why. So not because if I didn't know anything about daily scrums or all the different ceremonies, and somebody asked me, why do we want to do this? I'd be like, I don't know.
So the way we teach Agile, and Marcelo could tell you, is we really start with the mindset, right? That's very key. If you think of Agile, they go through the principles and they go through all that stuff. So that's really key for them to kind of absorb that, because really what's going to join them together is those values, you know. But I also have other approaches, right? Because many people believe that if you just keep going through these ceremonies, that they will reveal things for you. They will you will see some things that will ask you to change, to pivot, to adjust, to learn, to grow, right? So some people believe in that model. Okay, just teach them the framework. And if they go through it enough times and it's like practice, shuhari, they will automatically maybe absorb that. It's a tough call. But what I asked you to do is more as a coach, you need to be high level in the vision of where you're trying to take the team at. And you need to understand what they really mean behind the scenes, because that's what you're going to be coaching on. That's your toolkit. Okay, they're not holding each other accountable. Okay, everyone's not speaking up. Okay, see, now you've got that game plan instead of just foundational process. So that's what I'm indicating. You need to make sure you do that. But I truly, in my heart, feel the mindset is where it's at. That's where the real transformation takes place. Okay, did that help you, Joe?
Yeah, because you're coming at more from a coaching standpoint. And I'm not saying, wait 2 years before you go into the whys. I just want to give the team some okay, let's, this is what happens. And then now let's talk about, that you understand what a daily scrum is and you understand what a retro is. Let's talk about why we want to do it now.
So how many people out there would do things without knowing the why? Let's just get very, very honest right now. I want you to do something and I'm not going to tell you why. Okay? How many of you will be gun-ho about executing that compared to, I'm telling you, but I'm also giving you heads up on the why, and you kind of feel like you're bought into that. I don't know. My son doesn't do anything. I haven't tried.
I think we all do, Rick, because we jumped in and started doing your stickies without asking you why.
You start doing the sticky without asking me why. I like that. That's a good point. So that they jumped in there without asking me questions like, what is your pick? Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Saba.
I just think you'll get more out of the why. But now you're talking about doing it in parallel. Hey, this is a daily scrum. This is what it involves. And then this is why we do it.
Yeah. Marcelo, how would you answer that?
I want you to repeat it again, Joe. I want you to think about what you just said, and I want you to repeat it again.
What I just said?
Mm-hmm. Repeat it again.
My question or what the statement I just said?
What you were intending to say? Because I don't know if your question was exactly what you were intending to say. Think about that for a second.
Not seeing where you're going.
So
okay, then just repeat the question one more time.
So the question was, do we want to give the team a little bit of that experience and then go through the why, or do we want to tell them, okay, this is what a daily scrum is, and this is why we do it? That might be a better approach. And I'm just throwing it out there, not because.
So is it better to go through the process and then they will learn the whys and the mindset? Or is it better to go through the mindset and the whys and then kind of teach them the process? How would you do that, Marcelo? What would be your best approach to that?
Well, I don't know that it's the best approach, but I would look at them at where they are. And are they more of a analytical, step-by-step oriented person? Or do they like to kind of find their way? I'm not going to say touchy-feely, but do they like to explore? Okay. And if they are more of a process-oriented, okay, then a shoe, do this, you know, the wax on, the wax off. Okay. Then I would ask them the question, why did we wax on? And then why did we wax off? And have them practice that with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Why did we wax on? Why did we wax off? Okay. And as they do the form, continue to ask, why are we doing this? Why are you going through this? Why is this something useful or not useful to you? Okay. And if they're saying, well, it's not useful to me because of this, then say, why is it not useful to you? And in a sense, let them logically deduce for themselves the way towards making it their own.
I love that. That's really good. And what he just showed us, Joe, was situational awareness.
Yeah.
Right? He understood the situation. He said, okay, this is who I'm dealing with. This is how I'm going to have to cater to them. This is how I have to adjust to these. Good job. All right, guys.